This is the Creative Boom Podcast, and I'm your host, Katie Cowan. Blimey, this is it. The final episode of Season 2. I can't believe we're here. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. The whole podcast began in late 2019, I think, before the pandemic. Back during a time when I was a bit of a perfectionist, to say the least, and insisted on seeing people face to face to get the best possible audio. How times have changed. Honestly, though, it has been wonderful and truly humbling. I want to thank all of my guests for taking the time to chat with me on this podcast during what has been a crazy year, a time that's challenged us all. So thank you. Thank you for listening as well. It really means a lot, and I hope we've been a welcome little nugget of loveliness on your Monday mornings. For episode 60, my guest is graphic designer and illustrator George Simkin, the founder of Simkin Studio, an independent design agency based in East London. His work is bold, playful, and loads of fun, pretty much a reflection of his lively personality. And George works across branding, retail design, editorial, typography, and also illustration. He's been doing all of this for over 15 years and even finds time to teach the next generation of designers at Shillington. Originally from Ireland, he's a much-loved character on social media and became famous for his hilarious Christmas cards at one point, which he's since moved on from. In this episode, we talk of George leaving Ireland for London during that whirlwind excitement of youth when taking risks was something we didn't second guess. Of why it's nice getting older. As we gain a lot more confidence, we stop caring about what others think, and we realise that we have to live in the moment, stop worrying about what happened in the past, or heaven forbid, what might go wrong in future. We ask George what possessed him to take his clothes off at Christmas, and we have a giggle at ourselves and the absurdity of life sometimes. A fantastic way to end season 2. But before we dig into this warm, comforting hug of an episode, let me thank our sponsor Shillington, the original graphic design bootcamp with 6 campuses around the world, along with its online course. We'll be meeting one of Shillington's teachers later in the show to get some career advice. But meanwhile, here's my chat with George. A friend of mine once said that if I ever met Jack Black, George, that the universe would implode. And I kind of think that that's going to be the same thing here.
Amazing. I hope I'm as, that's a pretty high standard. So I'd take that anytime. Amazing.
Well, we've had a few laughs, haven't we, over the years? I remember the first time I came across you, and I don't mean this at all creepy, but you were pretty much naked except for a strategically placed Santa hat.
Yeah, I think everybody should be, proud of their bodies, no matter what shape or form they're at. But yeah, I certainly, many years ago on Instagram, I used to just have fun, really. So showing some of my work, but also just like having a bit of fun. So that actually all came from actually doing a trick on a coworker. We actually had it was a Secret Santa, so we were doing like Christmas gifts, and the place I used to freelance, my boss's wife used to work there, and we used to get on really well, like really good connection. So Great. I said, what can I do for like a funny Secret Santa? And then I decided in the studio when everyone left to like just jump on the bookshelf, cover myself with a potted plant, and get naked and photograph it with this camera stand, and then I just framed in a picture, and then at the Secret Santa, when everyone's gathered around, we're opening up presents, and then she opened up this lovely picture of me absolutely pretty much naked in the frame, and they still have it in the studio. Apparently, I've been told they still use it to this day. It's still there on the shelf somewhere. So that's Brilliant. How it all started. Yeah, that's how I just being silly, but yeah.
And then did that spark a kind of annual Christmas card theme?
Yeah, that's what happened. So I did that, and I put up on Instagram, and then I think I haven't done it for the last 2 years, but I'd been doing it for about 6 or 7 years. And then my friends would be like, "Oh, when are you going to do the next Christmas card? When are you going to do the next?" So I would just like think of these silly things, poses to do, and then I would just put them up. And it wasn't even just, I stopped doing it the last 2 years, more for the fact I was just like, I think I just got a bit bored of them. I'm like, oh, it's done to death now. So stopped doing it. But yeah, it was just a bit of silliness. They're still there. I should take them down, really. I keep them forgetting they're up there.
Well, it's really funny because ever since that moment, every time you put something on Instagram that's kind of slightly, you know, like you put your legs on the other day and I just went, nice legs. And I just thought, God, he must just think I'm such a creep.
No, but it's like, I'm putting my stuff up there. It's just, you know, it's kind of, I see Instagram as kind of like my kind of brain, just being silly and just putting up stories. And I don't promote myself enough. I'm really bad at promoting my work. And, you know, I'm doing work all the time, but I almost like forget to promote my work or talk about my work. I think it's got that, I've also got that like that Irish humbleness that I don't want to like brag too much. So even just like showing work, I feel is a bit like, oh, look at the work I've done. I'm like, I just find that I'm doing more just like my own personal stuff on Instagram than actually promoting my own work, which I should do more of really.
Just get naked instead. And
yeah, exactly. Being silly. Yeah.
Be daft. Well, I think that's very, you know, it's very heartwarming actually, because, there is a humble feel to what you put out there. And like you say, Instagram and organising all our own marketing, that's like a huge other task, isn't it? That we have to add to our already very busy lives.
Yeah, and it's, you know, that's something that obviously we're kind of, as designers, you know, and, you know, I tell other designers, younger designers, to get your work out there. That's the best thing to do. Like, it is really, you know, it's not trying to sound like an old fart, but, you know, I remember when I graduated, there was like no Instagram, there was no like, you know, there was nothing really for you to promote your work. You would literally have a massive A1 printed portfolio, which is ridiculous. And then you go for interviews. And now it's a case of, you know, you wouldn't really be able to showcase your work. You know, you'd have a website and have some work up, but, you know, now you can just promote your work anywhere. It's incredible. Like, it's amazing just what you can do in terms of, and the outreach you have. And I think that, you know, it's just a case of just, I need to just get myself into gear. I do it, but I just don't do it enough. I think I could do it more essentially. But some people are really good at selling themselves, like on Instagram and social media and stuff.
You know, a really good tip is to just have, with every project that you do, have it as, you know, if you have a task manager bit of software that you use, just add it on to the end and say, okay, prep some mocked up images for Instagram, Facebook, whatever. LinkedIn is a very good one these days. And just have that all ready and just, you know, write your little captions. And it doesn't have to be too much effort, but whilst you're making those nice kind of new portfolio images for your website, just think about, you know, creating images that, you know, meet the dimensions of Instagram, and then it's just like tick, done, next.
Yes, it is quite simple. I think it's just a case of that. I'm sure, like most designers, you know, a lot of it's just like, I am just busy working, and then the stuff I just put on is just like me just going to work or doing something and being silly. So I just need to factor in that time of just actually doing that promotion stuff. I mean, I suppose it's a good complaint. It's just the fact that I think if I had no work, I'd probably be doing more promotion stuff. But I've been luckily, you know, kind of busy, so I haven't had the chance to do it yet. So it sounds like a dickhead thing to say, I haven't had time to do it yet, but I just just haven't. So
such a massive ego.
Yeah,
honestly.
I know, exactly.
Well, I definitely see the silliness and the playfulness in your work. It's very bold, very fun. But where does this sense of humour, where does this fun come from? You know, do you come from a big family, a big Irish family who are all daft and?
No, but it's like I don't. But my mother, you know, on my mother's side, she does. So my mother had like 12 siblings, so there was like a lot of them. So, but no, it's just me and my sister. So yeah, I'm from a really small seaside town, like south of Cork, called Youghal. It's a beautiful town, like it's really, really beautiful. But yeah, I just kind of, I think I get it from just my mother's got a great sense of humor. Like, it's that kind of typical kind of, I think maybe like Irish mother thing, but she definitely has kind of a silly side to her. And my dad was like kind of very kind of dry wit. So there's kind of two aspects of them, and they, you know, it was a kind of a, you know, they're quite different, but similar kind of like in terms of like maybe the kind of tone of voice or their humor aspect. But yeah, I think I've always just been like that. And it's funny because my sister actually is kind of very different to me. So we're similar in terms of like, you know, we have the same morals, the same kind of beliefs, I would say. But in terms of like, she doesn't really have that silly aspect. She's a lot more like, I'm like 2 years older than her, but most people think she's older than me for reasons when they just speak to us. I think she's got a much more mature head on her. Yeah, it's obviously, you know, it's clearly not just the upbringing, because we're different in that sense. So I don't know, maybe it's just like a genes thing, maybe just, you know, down the line, kind of my family were just a bit silly, a bit not kind of exactly, kind of like everyone else. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a thing of life is too short to take it seriously anyway.
That's I completely agree. All my ancestors are Irish and big family ancestors, lots of children. My great grandmother had 11 children, 2 sets of twins, I think, and 1 set of triplets, and the triplets are in the Guinness Book of Records for being the world's heaviest.
No way. That's crazy. That's amazing.
I know. Wow. Good stock.
Yeah.
And we've been joking this week. I've had my vaccine on Tuesday and all day yesterday, my mum because she's from Durham, my mum kept saying, how do you feel? How are you doing? And I said, do you know, I'm all right. And my mum just says, it's because you're from good stock.
That's it, exactly, yeah.
good immunity.
It's weird. I felt exactly the same. I got mine on Monday. So I got mine Monday and I felt a bit like cheated. I'm like, I've got no symptoms. I'm like, I felt a bit like, shouldn't it be working? Like, why is my arm not sore? I don't, I felt absolutely fine. And, pretty much the same thing I said to my mother. She's like, she always says this from my dad's side that, Dana, you guys never get sick. I think I've got a good immune system. But no, I've had a really good reaction to it. So,
my mum always says you get your good immunity from our side, from your mother's side. Exactly. Your father's a sickly family.
Oh, God, that's lovely. When families love to poke fun at each other, don't they? So yeah, my mother, my father were like completely separate, as in very different. Like, my father had small upbringing, my mother had like a big upbringing. My mother always talked about her emotions and her feelings. My dad was like very not like that. So like the kind of like opposites in a way, but obviously it kind of worked to some extent. So yeah.
How did they meet then in that case?
Well, it's like it's a small town, so it's it's kind of
bumped into each other.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's funny. Like, it's a funny story where I know that she knew my father for years, so he used to hang out with her brother and stuff. And apparently, my father used to be always working, like either like, I don't know, like when he was 16, 17, doing coal stuff or dirty work, basically, so he'd be filthy. And then she always told me the story where, like, and then one time he went to a rugby do thing and he was all dressed up, and she goes, I couldn't take my eyes off him because he was like, just always seeing him like filthy, dirty, fighting with his brothers. And then she's like, he was handsome, just dressed in a suit, just absolutely handsome. So that's where she kind of fell for him, I suppose. So.
And the rest is history. And so you're not in the small town anymore. What kind of what possessed you to leave such a beautiful spot? Were you kind of desperate to see what was out there? And
yeah, I think it's funny because I went to, from that small town that's just outside Cork City, and then I decided I basically wanted to, I didn't really know what design was, to be honest, but I just knew that I could draw. That's literally all I knew I could do well. Like, I could doodle and I can draw really well. Like, I didn't know then, but years later I found out I'm dyslexic, but I didn't know back then. So I literally was like, I was rubbish at school. When I say rubbish, I mean just awful. Just couldn't pass any kind of like exams. Just did really, really badly, like awful, in terms of school. But I could draw and I could doodle and I was kind of good in art. That was kind of like the only thing I could do. And my sister's very different. Like, she's really academic, the complete opposite. So I think it's like one of the things where I just, when I finished school, I'm like, well, what do I want to do? I know that I like drawing, and I kind of applied for some courses. Like, in Ireland, it's different to England, but you apply for courses and it goes by points system and all this thing.
Right.
But I basically didn't have enough points to get into any university, even the ones that like just the art colleges. So I did this like really good, it's called Colossus Stefanefa, which is it's a kind of, you do a portfolio, so you do a year and you kind of work on, kind of your projects. It's quite funny actually, because I found out years later that Michael Fassbender went there, so I felt much better finding out that someone like him went to the same place that I went to. Because at the time I was like, oh, it's just like this place you do something for a year, and but it's some really cool people have done that course. But I just did a portfolio, so I just applied for it, and you just got it through showing your work, showing drawings and doodles, and like to this day I think I don't know what I'd have done if I hadn't gotten that course, but I just kind of I just knew I wanted something more than just the town is amazing, it's beautiful, and I've got loads of friends who are still there, but I just wanted something different. Like, I think I'm always obsessed by, I get bored quite easy, so I like to see new things. Like, I got that I think I've got that slight adventure style, so I just knew I wanted to do something, go somewhere different. And that was an avenue to do that, to just like go do that course. And then I went to Limerick School of Art and Design, which is a really good art college that is really good graphic design course. And I did that for a few years. And at the time, like it sounds, I'm sure Limerick people will hate me for this, but at the time when I went there, that was like 2000. Like it was a bit rough. Like it's beautiful now. Like they've really cleaned it up and stuff, but it was a bit kind of on the rougher side. But the time there was amazing. Like the college is incredible. It's like this real hub. The college is right in the city centre, whereas the other colleges and universities are outside the city.
Oh, but that was fun.
The art college was amazing because it's right in the middle of the city, and then you would have. It's so funny. You could just see all the art college students a mile away because there'd be all the people, locals around the city. And then like these people are dressed in all these colors and different things. And you're like, yeah, they're in the art college. But I just loved it. And I just kind of, and then, I just love that course. And it was because I had such a tough time in school, just like as in, not anything to do with, like I had amazing friends in school. It was just more like academic wise, it's awful. And I think just when you go from a state of, you think you're shit at everything, and then going from a state where you do something like a design course or, art or something like that, and then you just know you like it and you just thrive in it. So I just absolutely went 200% in the course, and definitely on the geeky side where I just did so much work. I just did, I just really went for it because it was the first time since that, at like 19, 20, where like, oh, I'm actually kind of good at something. Like I can actually do something that not only am I passionate about, but I feel I'm actually getting some form of like positive feedback. So I just like really went for it and just absolutely loved it and just did really well. And I think there's just a lot of course after that was like, well, where do I go now? Do I stay in Ireland and continue to design, or go look for a job? And I think we had two of the friends who we kind of all decided, like, I can't even remember the conversation, but we were like, let's go to London. And I really don't remember having a drunk conversation or a sober conversation saying like, oh, what should we do? It was just this thing where I just knew that I was doing the course, and the next thing I knew, like, yeah, we're going to go to London. And it's like, it's just so weird how I can't remember getting to that stage where we had a conversation and decided to go. But yeah, I just kind of...
The possibilities of youth.
I know, that's the thing. Now I'm just like, and now when I think back, I'm like, that's great. And even it's only London. It's like, it's only across the pond. Yeah. But still now I do think, I'm like, God, I was so crazy to just, and we were stupid. Like we were just so stupid because we just turned up with our portfolios, no jobs, no accommodation. We stayed in a hostel we stayed in a hostel for a month, and just like, let's try to get a job while we're here. Like I'm just like, now I'm thinking like, if that was my like friend or son, I'd be like, what are you doing? Like get stuff set up before you go over.
That's the kind of benefit of being young, isn't it? Because we're just so naive and we don't realise all the possibilities of what could go wrong. We're invincible, and actually if we're able to harness that, we can really sort of take those risks and end up, well, where you are now in London.
Exactly, yeah. It's kind of, you're right. It's crazy, that thing of just like, fuck it, let's just do it like this, what's the worst going to happen? But it's so funny how I can remember it so vividly. I can remember being on the plane, like landing on the, landing, kind of getting on the plane and getting on there and being like, going like that moment of like, what the fuck are we doing? Like that, I definitely had that moment of, like that instant thing of just like, let's do this. But then going like, what are we doing? Like, is this the right thing to do? But then I can remember the minute we landed, the minute I remember the plane just landed and we got off, I had this just complete opposite euphoria of like, this is fucking going to be great. Like, let's just do this. Like, this is really exciting. Like it was just that one moment on the plane where you had this thing like, what am I doing? But the minute we got off, I was just like, just so excited to just like go for it and see what we can do and stuff.
And in that moment, if we were reenacting your life in a movie, what kind of soundtrack would that moment be? Because I can see it in film.
I think it would go from in the plane going, "Hello, darkness, my old friend." That one, that classic one. So it'd be all like grey and black and white, and then going from the opposite of like jumping out, and then something like, well, I don't know, something a bit more aggressive, probably something like Deftones or something, some music like that. But
amazing.
What a movie would be, I'm not sure. But
and who would
maybe Sound of Music.
Maybe, yes, definitely. What's the song she sings when she's like walking along? I have confidence.
I felt stupid confidence is what I had, but that's so fun.
Well, courage, I would say, and in this kind of movie that I'm thinking of, who would play you? Do you think?
would obviously be Jack Black. That would be the number one. Yes. No, it's funny. It's like, it'd be Jack Black, or just in terms of visuals. Yeah, in terms of visuals, I've been told many times that I actually, that time when Hangover was out, I'm not making this up. When Hangover was out, and Zach Galifianakis, who's got a beard and similar kind of thing, and it's actually crazy how, like, I don't think I looked that. I mean, I got a beard, but I don't think I looked that like him that much. But it was that movie was massive, and when I say massive, I mean it's crazy how. And I'm again, it might sound like I'm making this up, but I've got friends who are with me. I would literally be sitting in a park. I'd be sitting outside, and people would come up to me and go like, "Are you in that movie?" Like, they would literally think I was him. And like, one person asked me to have a photograph with them. Like, it was crazy how, like, the amount of people who came up to me and was like, "Oh, can I get a photo with you?" Because of, I'm like, I'm clearly not him. I'm like, I'm Irish from like Cork. I'm like, I'm definitely not that actor. But maybe him.
This is going to make you laugh. Some of my male best friends call me Alan.
Wow, exactly. Do you get up to the stuff that he gets up to? Have you got some weird kind of like fetishes?
No, I haven't done Blood Brothers or anything like that.
Exactly,
but they just wind me up. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm just. And to give you an insight, have you seen the movie Up?
Yes.
With the little dog. They also call me the little dog. So that gives you an idea. I'm just a lovable puppy that just wants to be loved by everyone and included.
He's a lovable guy. There's nothing wrong with one of being loved. Everyone does, to be honest. Some people just show it more than others. That's the reality.
Some of us are kind of wear our hearts on our sleeves a little bit too much, but I don't think I've really changed much in my years. I think I've got more confident of just being who I am over the years. That's the thing. You think when you're younger, I really need to suppress this thing about me that's a weakness. But actually, as you get older, you realise it can sometimes hold you back, but it's actually a strength. It's just how you change your perspective.
100%. I've loved getting older. Like, I definitely feel that as I get, again, I'm not going to. I turned 40 in December, so I'm in my 40s now. And
welcome.
I thank you. And I always kind of felt that I feel kind of mid 30s is when I started to really have confidence in myself, and which sounds fucking crazy because that's 35, and like I know I know that people are told, and kids are told, be confident, believe in yourself, all that kind of stuff, but. Like, I had confidence when I went to university and, doing the course and definitely there, but I think really just belief in myself, where I just kind of stopped really thinking about what everyone thought about me, and just like, I'm like, who gives a fuck? And at the end where you just, it's like kind of the thing where I think because you just get older, I felt that I just kind of like, it really doesn't matter. Like, does it really matter what people think I wear? And even it's funny because even with my work, like the fact that I dress quite like colorfully, I think, just in general. But before, like, I was mid 30s, I used to dress in lots of kind of blacks, browns, like whites, nothing too shouty, like definitely nothing too shouty. And I remember Kate Moras. I remember the way they used to dress was just really bright and colorful. And I remember having this moment of like, that's so fucking cool how much color they wear and how bright they are. And I remember thinking, like, why shouldn't I know exactly that's exactly it. Why not have more colour? You're pointing at a Joy.
I'm pointing at Morag Mayaskoff's new jewellery line from Tati Divine.
Exactly.
Other jewellery brands are available.
Nice promo bit in there. But I think I'm just like, I just started first wearing like colourful socks, and I'd wear these poppy colourful socks. And it sounds really weird, like a 40-year-old man talking about colour and like why he just felt colour kind of brought him out. But I just realised that I knew I always loved colour, but I never really wore it because I didn't want to stand out too much. And then I was just like, fuck it. Like, if I want to dress like a clown, I'm going to dress like a clown. So that's literally what I would start doing, wearing really bright colours, colourful hats and socks and whatever. And it's just like a funny thing to, like, even now, it's funny talking about this now, and I'm thinking about my parents, and like, imagine them talking like that when they were at our age. It's like, it's kind of crazy how, like, it's fun. I think it's really good how now that things are much more open, where people can be who they want to be or do what they want to do, and it's not such a stigma. Well, it still is a stigma to some people, but generally it's quite open, which is great.
I mean, I thought I was okay, and then I turned 40 and had like a sort of confidence crash. I think my dad having a big heart attack, and he's okay, he's still around. But,
good.
But it kind of just sort of brought everything to the fore, and I was like, oh, and had a bit of a crash. So I think confidence is one of those things that you can have a lot of at different stages of your life,
Yes.
and then it can just disappear just in a heartbeat. And not making the connection to my father, but it's strange how you just have these moments. But yeah, one of the benefits of getting older is that you just stop caring about what other people think,
Yes.
and you really start to say, well, actually, I don't care if people don't like me or don't like my work. Actually, I care about whether I like them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny. It's not funny. It's like interesting how you brought up your kind of father and stuff, because I think that's, you were mentioning to me about how, maybe my outlook is generally quite silly or quite like just playful and not taking too seriously. And I'm sure one major factor of that, when I was 15, my dad dropped dead, just like out of nowhere. So it's
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Like but it's that thing. The reason why I'm bringing it up because you bring up your kind of your father and how that kind of affected you and stuff, and like that thing of like just kind of my upbringing and kind of what I do. But obviously that's probably is a massive part of it too, because when you do have something where you like a parent and then just all of a sudden like again it's I like talking about it because it's I think people should it's like sudden death syndrome, which is extremely rare, and it happens to really like usually like fit people. So my dad was crazy into like gyms and rugby. He played rugby for years, and I just dropped dead out of nowhere just one Friday.
Just gone.
So like just gone. So I think not I think, but like I definitely think I have this thing where I have this not weird thing, but I have this horrible thing where I think like anyone can just go at any second. So I kind of think I have this thing of just like I'm not going to be just getting caught up in things that I shouldn't be getting caught up on, or just like the fact that I'm just being silly and having fun. And if I want to dress a certain way, if I want to talk a certain way, or do something silly on whatever, I should do it because at any minute life is fragile, and any minute any of us can kind of go. It sounds a bit morbid, but it's like I think it's not morbid.
No, it's
like,
not.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think it's good to remind ourselves of that. If I'm having a sort of dark week, my husband Tom will sort of do some lovely things and remind me that all we have is now. And if he, and vice versa, I'll say to him, do you know what? It's just work. Let's go out for a nice walk. Sun's shining.
Yeah.
Let's go for a pint. Obviously, you can't do that as easily at the moment, but let's just embrace the now and not take it too seriously.
Exactly,
it's just that.
Exactly, and if there's one thing that's taught us is like this fucking this lockdown for the last year and a half. It's like if there's been anything that's really like been again trying to be positive about things. If there's anything that's really taught us anything, is that this lockdown has made us realize that first of all, like we can't control pretty much most things. And nobody, besides Bill Gates, nobody would have predicted like that this would have happened. He did a year ago, 2 years before that, like had to talk about this is going to happen. But like, just generally public, we don't think about this kind of stuff. But the fact that you could not in any way conceive that something like this is going to happen. Yeah. And then when it did happen, I think I catastrophized quite a lot. So I just generally think of the worst case scenario of most things. So when something does happen, I'm quite like, okay, we got this. It's all good. Like, let's just do this thing. But like you said, it is a thing that you just got to do it day by day. You can't. Yeah. Because if you think about the past, it's like it might get you down about certain things you might have done or should have done. If you think about the future, it's like, well, you can't really control most things in the future, and you just gotta like you said, like be in that moment of like kind of this is now and be present. I used to have like a little post note saying like be present on my computer, because I do there's times where like obviously there's times where we all get it's a bit tougher than others, and that time I find when I do find that when I'm getting that mind feel, I try to think of that kind of present aspect, because it is the best way to think, really.
It really is, because we can catastrophize, can't we? We can sort of, when we're feeling a bit down or low, we can sometimes look back at our mistakes, things we've done, things we've said, friendships that never carried on, just moments of regret. And we lie there and we can just start spiraling into this dark place. And you really do just have to pull yourself out of it and say, for goodness sake. Exactly. And it's give yourself a break.
Exactly. And everything is, okay. Every time I say these things, I'm like, I sound like an old man. But the fact that like now it's like everything is just magnified like 1,000 times. So for example, if you are feeling a bit shitty about, am I really doing the right thing? I mean, I know you jump onto like Instagram and you're seeing somebody like, I'm doing this amazing project, or I'm doing this amazing thing. I know. I'm going and it's like, not on them. They should talk about their life and what they're doing. But it's like, then you internally, and when I say you, I internally then go like, oh, fuck, like I really should be doing more. I should be doing more of this or do more of that. And
we never had that as kids.
It's crazy. It's like it's like
social media.
I'm so happy how, and I think social media is amazing. I'm not anti, I'm on those programs, so I'm not like anti those, but
same.
I just know that they can be quite, like, you've got to change your mindset because they can be quite damaging. But if you kind of get out of that, it's pretty good. But
if I find myself going into that, and I think we all do, I think we wouldn't be human if we didn't have those moments, because sometimes I'll see other people's work and I'll be like, oh, that's great. But then there'll be other times where I look at it and go, oh man, I really need to get my act together. And I start being really tough on myself. And when these days, when that starts happening, I go, okay, this is a sign that I need to delete the app from my phone and just take a couple of days off, which sounds absurd because it shows just how addicted we all are to our smartphones. And let's all be honest, none of us look at our weekly screen reports. We flick it off the phone or the Apple Watch as soon as we possibly can.
Exactly, yeah. You're like, that's more hours in the day. How is that possible? It's like, I've been on my phone.
When you think about it, cat videos, looking up the height of Will Smith, just all the random
TikToks. It's like, it's crazy.
The latest TikTok dance craze.
Exactly. So no, it's kind of, you just got to, like anything, you just got to control it, or not let it kind of take over your kind of mindset. But it's but to be honest, I find that anyone in the creative field, doesn't matter what you're doing, like that doubt just never goes. Like, and I've spoken to you speak to juniors or the kind of students or whatever, you talk to other people, and that thing of, I remember you'd have so much doubt in uni, just the work you're doing. And I honestly had this massive thing where it's like, okay, once I get to my first job or I do my first year, I'd have all this confidence and I never doubt anything I do. And I'm like, it just never fucking goes away.
No.
And the good thing is that when designers do talk about it, it's incredible, because I remember once, and I'm going to paraphrase this, but I remember once maybe it was on Twitter, but Michael C. Place, he was talking about how he's sending a presentation, and he was in the tweet, he just said, like, oh, I still have that like nerves just before, do you ever get that nerves still before you send a presentation? And like, that just fucking blew my mind. I'm like, this is like Michael C. Place. He's literally like, to me, he was like a legend. And I'm like, he's done like stuff for Nike, like just amazing clients, like Designers Republic, like heroes to me. And like, he's talking about still having nerves of sending a presentation. Like, you would think he'd be like, yeah, just send that. It's another one in the job done. Like, it's like everyone goes through those things. Like, no, I think there's very few designers who don't have any doubt about their work or their kind of each kind of work that they're doing or job that they're doing. Like, it doesn't happen, I don't think so.
I think we think that in our 20s, don't we? We see life as this kind of like constant graph going up, and we're, maybe there's a bit of enlightenment at the top. And actually, it's not like that at all. It's like ups and downs, and it's messy.
Exactly.
And one of the best pieces of wisdom my father ever gave me was, I asked him, Dad, when do you feel like an adult? When do you figure it all out? I didn't ask him this last week, but I could have done.
Why not?
And he said, I don't know, tell me when you figure it out, or something like that. And I just thought that was really kind of like simple but poignant, and it's always stayed with me, and it's always been a really good reminder that actually none of us have it worked out, and those who look like they've got it worked out are doing a very good job at pretending.
Yeah, but also the fact is like, like, what's to work out? Like, and I think, but I think personally, just my kind of ethos in that is like, what's to work out is that like what makes to be happy. Like, that's basically it. Like, to work out anything, just not being all like gooey or whatever like that, but like, clearly the thing is that like just what makes us happy, and obviously not hurting other people. So whatever you're kind of into, like, get into it. Like, whatever you want to do, like, get into that. If you're not hurting other people or yourself, like, what's the problem? So if you want a certain type of lifestyle where you feel like, I don't want to have kids, I want to live in a caravan, I want to live on an island, I want to not talk, whatever you want to do, like, you should be able to do that. And if that makes you happy, that's all that matters. Like, it doesn't,
exactly.
It's like, because there are so many things where you should buy a house, you should do this, you should do that, which is like really damaging, because there's no should do anything. Like, it's just whatever makes you happy is really the most important thing.
And now a word from our sponsor, Shillington, the original graphic design bootcamp, or in this case, some creative advice from one of its teachers at its New York campus. Marcia Decker is an artist, designer and musician originally from Arizona and now based in the Big Apple. I asked Marcia, have you got any tips on portfolios and making sure they're the best possible representation of our work?
Yeah, definitely have a think about the type of design that makes you most fulfilled and makes you happiest, makes you most excited when you're going to pursue that work. Because the more that you have those kind of examples in your portfolio, the more that kind of work will tend to come to you. So if you really enjoy illustrating, try to put a little bit more of an illustration emphasis in your portfolio. If it's doing really textural, abstracted, more artistic explorations, really lean into that. But if you'd like to just be really well-rounded, there's nothing wrong with that as well. So definitely have a think, even the kind of areas of design, if it's design for social good, or if it's more advertising or corporate or even small business focused, it's really important to have that reflected in how you pull together your portfolio.
To find out more about studying graphic design at one of Shillington's 6 campuses around the world or via its online course, visit shillingtoneducation.com. Now, back to George. And do you think that you've learned that more in the sort of lockdown? Has that sort of become, have you done a lot of kind of reflecting, I suppose?
I think, it's funny because I think, which is quite nice, is the fact I think it made me more realize that I was on the right track. I think it was good because it didn't make me go, oh shit, I realized I'm not doing the right thing, because I think it made me realize like this is the right thing to do. And I definitely had the moment of, there was a choice of whether I stay in London, because basically in lockdown, got pregnant. So like not got pregnant in lockdown, but just before lockdown, realized I was pregnant. I was going to
say, it sounds like you had some fun.
Exactly. It was before.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But it's like, so it was that thing where me and my partner Tess, we were like, right, what, do we stay in London? Like, because we're here in this this amazing city, which is pretty crazy, lots going on and stuff like that. But like, I'm Irish, she's Swedish. They've got amazing stuff to do, like maternity leave and like, kind of support and all this stuff. So we had this clear thing of just like, fuck it. Do we just like go to these countries, which we kind of felt had a bit more support when it comes to kids and obviously family as well, that kind of thing. But no, we just had this reason where this kind of thing where we taught for a long time and realized that actually we love where we are at the moment. And, we felt that like, 4 or 5 years longer here, that's okay. It's not going to affect the baby too much. They're still going to love it. Lots of museums and playgrounds to go to, lots of fun things to do. And it's that kind of thing where we realize we're not done with London yet. Like, we still want to kind of have fun here and kind of enjoy ourselves here. But and it just made me realize that I was kind of content with how I kind of where I've landed, which is like doing the kind
literally landed because you landed in London. How many years ago now? 15, coming up to 16 years now. Yeah, wow.
So it's quite a long time. But I know obviously it was a 16-year journey. But I just just for me, it's no way the fact that like I've made it or I've done whatever. But I just know that day to day, I'm doing the work that I want to do, and it's they're my clients, and I do illustration work and part of collectives and part of, just doing the stuff that I basically want to do, which is a tough feat to do if you want to set up as a one man limited company kind of business, and I'm still got work. I'm still got work that's coming through. I'm still being able to pay my bills. I'm doing the stuff I want to do. That's what's really important, and flexibility obviously as well. So that's the thing that made me realize, oh shit, like this is what I want to do. I don't want to just go work for one company. I don't want to go just do this. I want to do what kind of I'm doing, which is
that's
nice.
Great.
Yeah, it was
it's a
good.
great lucky place to be, and because a lot of people have changed and moved out of the city. I mean, just look at the property boom that's happening at the moment.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, and they're sort of saying, people have kind of made massive life changes based on how it is now rather than how it's going to be in future. But then saying that, it seems like there's going to be a bit more hybrid office working,
and there should be like if there's one thing that companies have learned, and again, I'm kind of just I'm doing my own thing, but I still talk to studios and talk to designers in studios.
Same.
And it definitely seems to be the case that, which should have been the case for a long time, but why do we have to be there 9 to 5, Monday to Friday? Like, it's like we're creative people. And what's really good is that, companies have realized that like, oh shit, yes, we can do amazing work in lockdown. And when our workers are at home doing the work, and that's what's really important. So, it's like, that's the kind of thing I feel is like, 4-day weeks sound great to me. Like, I don't know why we try them out in the UK. Like,
exactly.
Trying to do 4-day week or like you said, just doing 2 days in the studio and then, kind of like 3 days in at home or vice versa.
Nobody really works on a Friday anyway.
100%. Like people would be happier. Like 100% people would be happier if you can break it up a bit more, not having that kind of like Monday to Friday, the exact same spot all the time. People will 100% be better and like, be more productive.
You get a happier workforce.
Yeah, it's just a really archaic thing. Just the 9 to 5 is a really old system of like people would work from like 9 to 5 for certain reasons to do it, whatever it was back in the like 100 years ago, whatever it was. But it's like it's just been set, and we think we need to still do that. But the reality is like we don't. Like some people work better. I do not work better at night. Some people work better at nighttime. I do not. Like I'm very much an early person. Like
Are you
early.
a morning person? Do you jump out of bed and start talking?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm definitely like more of a morning person, and I love getting up early. My partner not so much. Tess not so much. She's much more like I like to sleep in a bit more.
Tom's the same.
Which is good because you can both balance stuff out. But
I'm like this in the morning. I'm like, oh, it's a lovely morning. It's really good. Oh, well, right, cup of tea. And Tom's like,
you shut up. Exactly.
Just be quiet. But he's been with me for 17, 18 years, so
amazing.
Can't have put him off.
No, like, and kind of opposites do. It's not even necessarily opposites. I think we're quite similar, but kind of like not everything needs to be the same. And like if you're a morning person, you're a morning person, it's good.
Oh, we're complete opposites. But he does this really adorable thing where he has to talk through things before he does it. So he has to plan things meticulously. Yeah. This morning, whilst I was still lying in bed, actually, which tables turned a little bit, he was getting ready to go and work on site somewhere. And he kept coming back into the bedroom and saying, right, and with this wardrobe we need to take down, what we need to do is we need to move the bike, we need to move the bed, and then we need to put it down together. And I'm just start giggling. Yeah. And he's like, why are you giggling? I said, because this is what you always do and it's just adorable.
Yeah, they all have the things that's adorable and also have the things that you can't stand. Like,
drive us mad.
Exactly, yeah, that's what it is. So, we all have our thing.
Yeah, what would you say, Tess, that you do that drives Tess mad?
Oh, apparently I'm the loudest eater on the planet. So, but she has the thing where she, it's not just me, but I can't remember what it's called. I should know what it's called, but there's something where people just cannot stand the sound of people eating. Like the sound of people like eating, it's a thing. Like I've read it somewhere where like people are just really affected by it. And it's like it's a gene thing. Like people have it. There was like some famous actor talking about it on the podcast, and they were saying they had it, and it's basically just any noise of chewing or munching they can't
freaks
stand.
Them out.
So she did say once that like you make marshmallows sound like they're crunching. Like she said, it doesn't matter what I'm eating, like whatever I'm eating like jelly, and it would make a crunch sound. I'm like, really? I'm really that bad? But it's funny because I'm not like, and again, this is just from her because I know I'm not, I eat well. I'm not a monster. So when I go out restaurants and I eat like every person should eat, and no one's ever said like you open your mouth. I close my mouth, but just
so you know how to behave.
Exactly.
But when you're in private company with your partner, you can go crazy.
I'm probably the loudest eater ever. But yeah, that's the thing. And drives her nuts. Like I'm like, we're definitely going to break up because of this. Like if we break up, it's because of my just sounds from eating.
Oh gosh,
that's the thing that kills her. Yeah.
Oh gosh, well that's not a bad habit, is it? Really, it could have been worse. So I didn't know what you were going to share then, but
yeah, exactly. So when we're in bed, and then
so you love London, you're staying. That's fantastic. And I didn't realise, George, you also love a little bit of photography. Delve in that.
Yeah, it's I kind of it's the photography thing is quite funny because I do love photography, love kind of just, going out with my camera, just taking shots of whatever I can. And I just kind of, there was a point this is a long story, but there was a point just in London, which I'm sure everyone's gone through where, I kind of had a bunch of friends here and, after about 4 or 5 years, and they kind of like half of them decided to like either go back to Ireland or go somewhere else. And it was just this weird time where I was like, holy shit, like I've got all my close friends have like left, and I was kind of here and stuff, and other people get into relationships. So it was kind of like I was living with a guy, but he started a new relationship. It was amazing, and I just mainly kind of by myself, not too much to do. So I was like, I need to do something. So I was doing my kind of creative work, and definitely getting a bit like down in the dumps as it would, and 100%. London can be a fucking lonely place if you don't know people and you're not in a, let's say, group or blah, blah. It can be really, really tough, like 100%. And it was before I was like in any collective or anything like that. So I had this moment where I was like, I need to do something that's not just my studio work. So I just like got a really nice camera, went out and just would go walk around London, just like take shots, and went to I was like, I need to go travel. Like went to New York and took shots. Went to New York to take shots, and Hurricane Sandy hit right in the middle of my trip. So like it was this crazy experience where I go to New York for the first time by myself. I did know a couple there, so it was great. They were amazing. Got to stay with them for half of it, Airbnb the other half. And this is when was Hurricane Sandy? 2012, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so something like that, 2012 or something like that. So yeah, so kind of like, and I had a 2-week kind of stint, and I went for like a holiday to see New York, but like really to like photograph it. So like taking photographs, and about a week in, and then like the couple that I was with, they were like, there's like a kind of a hurricane kind of coming, there's a storm coming, and I'm typical Irish is like, a bit of wind to be grand, like it's fine, like don't worry about it. And they're like, no, George, like this is legit, this is like a real thing. And I'm like, because it's like never seen any type of storm anywhere like in UK or Ireland. So I just thought like, oh, the Americans, maybe they're overreacting. And then it was crazy. I went to their apartment, stayed there.
Those Americans are always overreacting.
And I was like, maybe, and I went to their, but like it's more just like the Irish way of just like, I'll be fine. It's grand. There's nothing's going to happen. And then went to their apartment, and it just like it was like kicking off, like just watching the news, like you could see stuff now, but like, we didn't go outside, so I thought like, oh, it's all fine. And then the next day we went outside. I went outside, and it was literally like a post-apocalyptic world. It was like there's this crap, just, like whole trees down, like total carnage, and obviously it was horrible. It is horrible, but like then with the camera, like this is. Like just took loads of shots, and
I'm gonna have to look at that.
Spent the whole day just walking around, and it was just like just kind of spent the kind of like good kind of few years just kind of photographing stuff, and I'm just like I think I'm definitely like an observer. So I just like when I go to an airport or go anywhere, just like I'm constantly looking at people all the time.
Well, I loved your Notting Hill Carnival series. That was fantastic to look through, because we've missed these kind of like in people live normal events, haven't we?
Definitely.
And I think the Notting Hill Carnival keeps bubbling up in my head, because I'm like, oh, I've never done that. I'd really love to do that. And go and dance in the street and rub shoulders with other strangers and dance, and I can't wait.
That's that as a creative person and that kind of thing of either venues or creative kind of gigs, like I do miss that the most. I think, like you said about that thing of just people like just being together doing one thing, which is either like listening to music or going to a food festival or going to like a kind of a pick me up type thing, like a festival thing, graphic design festival. Yeah, it's really, that's the saddest thing. I think the fact that we haven't been able to do that yet, because there's that kind of aspect of community is really important. Like people like to be around generally around other people, like whether it's they're not similar minded, they might just be into the same thing, but it's something that we're meant to do. We're supposed to be gatherers. We're meant to go out and talk to people and be around people. Yeah, exactly. So it's
Are you a hugger?
I am a hugger. Yes, I'm basically like a classic Capricorn, where basically it takes me a good few weeks to trust somebody, like really trust somebody. But once they're in that trust circle, I'm like literally like, I'll die for that person. So I'm like at first, like obviously now we're talking, I'm quite friendly, and generally I'm quite friendly with most people. But I definitely have this thing like this trust thing where I'm like, do I really kind of trust you thing? But once that I've got that thing where I don't know what it is. It's not one thing, but I have this thing where like, once I feel they're in my trust circle, I'm like, okay, like just nonstop. Respect for that kind of person. But in general, I do hug people if they do want to hug me, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm definitely kind of a hugger. I definitely miss doing that.
I'm going to be like out in the real world, going up to people and going, "Can I hug? Can we hug? Can we do this? Are you a hugger?"
It's going to be great.
I'm just going to. I have a worry though that I'm going to be too. Awkward, like, in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, what's the name of the character? She's just, when she goes up to Captain Holt and says, "Oh, you look beautiful." I'm just going to come out with loads of inappropriate, like, over-the-top things, and maybe go to kiss someone's cheek and accidentally kiss them on the lips. And
I think if we're keeping it hugs, I think it'll be fine. I think most people will be fine with kind of hugs, yeah. But
you do an elbow or a hug.
Exactly, yeah. But that is the kind of the sad thing as well, of the fact that just hugging your friends or just being around your kind of like friends or just people just like to kind of hug us. I mean, I think it's weird now because we are so used to it now. Like when I do see people, you just giving them the elbow, that kind of thing. And it's like funny how we're kind of like disconnected from it now. Like I realize that I don't hug anyone anymore. But the fact that we're all my friends who always hug them all the time. And now that isn't there, but. Like hopefully it's kind of getting to a stage where we can do that at a certain point. I don't know when, but yeah.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty positive. I think I wasn't maybe even maybe two months ago, but now I'm feeling with kind of the numbers and like vaccinations and stuff. It's looking pretty good.
It is looking good. It is looking good. And you know what, George, as well, you are my season finale. This is the last one.
No.
So when people,
God.
I know. So when people listen to this, it'll be kind of second week of July.
Oh,
and,
wow.
There'll probably be madness everywhere. People running around on the street and licking each other's faces.
So I hope so. I certainly hope so. But no, it's going to be. I'm really, really excited about the kind of the creative aspect. I'm like, there's going to be so much stuff that's going to be done. It's going to be incredible. Like obviously with just like fun stuff and music and food, but just like in terms of like the creative industry, like I'm just really excited to know I think it's going to be a massive like explosion of stuff that we're doing and exhibitions and shows and talks. It's going to be really exciting. That's something to really look forward to, I think.
Let's just hope this next decade is one we look back at with, fondness and
exactly, yeah.
The kind of decade where we all remembered the very simple things to be grateful for, and when we really sort of cherished our friendships and our family. And
there's been so much horrible stuff with this kind of pandemic, but like you said, on the other side of it, there's also been some amazing highlights and also just like realizations, and guarantees so many people have changed their lifestyles and changed what they're doing, and I realized like I need to be close to the family, or I need to connect more with family. Like I even know from personally for myself. So I kind of normally in a normal year I'd probably go home maybe 3 times a year, maybe 3 times a year, maybe 4 times a year at kind of maximum, see my mother and stuff and see my sister, and she's got 2 kids now, but
great.
Now that obviously it's been tough, the fact that like my mother has not been able to see my her grandson, but on the other side, I keep on trying to tell her this, and she's been really good now. The fact that but look, I'm talking to my mother every week. Like every week I ring her like on a Wednesday or Thursday, and then we kind of all Skype or video call each other on the weekends. And like for me, like I definitely am talking way more to my mother than I've ever done in my life, and that's really good. Like that's a really positive thing.
Yeah.
So like that, you can't, if the pandemic didn't happen, obviously I probably would have went home 3-4 times again, like I normally would, but I probably, maybe just a bad son, typical boy, but like, text her on WhatsApp, but certainly not like ring her, but like now I ring her every week. And then we also have a kind of a Zoom chat with all of us together as well. And that definitely would have not happened if it wasn't for the pandemic. And that's just been amazing. So there is this form of closeness that you wouldn't think would happen, but it has happened because of that. So that's a positive for on my side anyway, in terms of what's been going on.
I think that's happened a lot. I think loads of people have done that and formed friendships. Some of the friendships I've formed over the last 12 months have just been incredible, and that wouldn't have happened had it not been for all of this. And, I really value those new friends in my life that have seen me through, what has been, I say it's been difficult. We're very privileged, aren't we? We're very lucky. Yes. Roof over our heads. Yeah. It really hasn't affected us in the grand scheme of things. We've still been able to work. Yeah. But it's just the uncertainty and the worry about family and friends.
And as you said, that was the other thing as well, that realization, like I said, about not even just about like what I do, my career, that kind of thing. But that realization of like that, it was more that thing, like you just said, about the fact that we're so lucky.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can really complain about. It's like, oh, I can't, especially when you're like, oh, I can't go to the fucking restaurants. It's like when you're like, there are people who are literally just in horrendous situations, and you're like,
exactly.
It's like, obviously can't see my immediate family. That is heartbreaking. And the big but is that, yeah, but like there's far worse scenarios that we could be in. Like we have a good health system, amazing health system in NHS. We've got like stuff where we got like protection, we've got a roof over our heads, we are living a very, very good life. You can't complain. It's like, I'm a white man. I can't really complain about shit. Like
No.
I'm out of that loop. I'm like, I can't really complain about most things. So it's like, it's like that thing of just like, be really appreciative of what you have,
Exactly.
which is a lot, basically,
including fabulous hair and a huge beard.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I've been very lucky. I'm both my parents that have gotten this luscious thick hair. So,
I know, 40 and it's still going strong.
yeah,
look at it.
I'm getting nice grey spots, the lovely kind of grey little whiskers on the
same.
side there.
Beautiful.
But I don't think my great uncle, who is like, it got to his like mid-90s, had like a full head of hair, all grey but a full head of hair. So I don't think that's going to be going away, which is quite nice.
Is this a Simkin?
I think it's that is a Simkin, but on both sides, both families, all the kind of men had full head of hair. No one was like balding. But I do have the smallest kind of like brow hairs. Like it is literally the smallest forehead.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
My friends always say how the fact that like I've got a receding forehead, so like my hair is getting closer to my eyebrows, and that at one point it's going to be all like one piece, but like it's just tiny. There's nothing there. It's like super
and your son, I presume, is born now. What have you called him?
We've called him Eli. So he's Eli, yeah.
And is he one of these amazing babies that's come out with just a full thatch of thick hair?
He did have he did have hair, not as much as his mother did. Apparently, his mother Tess came out and she had jet black hair, and they this is in like Sweden, and they were just like they told like I think the nurses said like, oh, is the dad Iraqi, or said some really horrible comment like that, because he was just so jet black here. He was just like, it doesn't happen in that part of the country. So he didn't have as much hair as her, but he had a good head of hair, and I think he's going to hopefully have the same as me. But yeah, we'll see. Her uncles are, but it's from the mother's side, right? It's not from the father's side.
I don't know. I've never had children. I think I took cues from my great grandmother and decided, that I was going to not bother.
Yeah, exactly.
11 children and the world's heaviest triplets,
yes.
and I look like a no, thank you.
No, and that's the thing as well. I mean, this is quite obviously it's a big topic, but I know I've got 3 close friends who have all said like, we've decided we're happy not to have kids, and that sort of thing. I think it's really good that people talk about it more, because there is this thing where like it actually frustrates me, and I know that so many people have like hassle trying to have kids, and so many people have problems trying to have kids, but some people just don't want to have kids, and that's absolutely, it's not even fine, but that's their kind of choice, and they don't want to do that. And like, I just had a kid. I don't think that everyone should have a kid. Like, no, they shouldn't. It's like, it's up to them.
Oh, but you see, you're selfish if you don't have another one now, because you need.
I know, it's like, it's ridiculous.
I know, it goes on and on. We just have to ignore them. But in my experience, it started off 20 years ago very negative. If you brought it up with anybody, but now it's just more accepted. And people have gotten better at being kind of sensitive to when they ask the question, have you got children? Because, you've got to remember there are a lot of people out there who can't have children or are struggling to get pregnant. So you have to be very sensitive of that. And it's okay to ask somebody why they've not got children, but just remember that they may be going through a lot of pain.
Yes.
But if there's an inkling, you get the impression that they've done it on purpose, they've not wanted to, it's okay to ask why. Just don't keep asking why, hoping to get a different answer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
and those friends that I have, they've brought up to me, it's like they've said like, oh, we decided not to, like at that point. So I think it's really I think it's just like good when people don't want to, and they verbalize that they don't want to, and they've just said, whatever reasons why. Because I think it is that taboo thing where it's still a bit like that. You should have, like, everyone should have kids. It's like not really.
Well, you don't want it. Also, you don't. As somebody who's decided not to, I don't want to share my reasons why I haven't. Yeah. Because not because I think it's rude that someone's asked, just because I don't want to be rude to them, because they'll often have children, you see. Because whenever you do something in life that is slightly different to what somebody else has done, of course you're going to sort of like throw up. You're going to make them think about their life choices, and you were just going about your day, minding your own business.
Yes.
So you just have to be mindful of that, I think. And I do that. If somebody asks why, I just shrug my shoulders very politely and say, because it just wasn't for me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I'm not going to go into all the tens of billions of reasons why, because it insults them. Because
exactly. And you shouldn't have to. Nobody should explain why they've decided to live on a boat, like why they've decided to do whatever they're doing. It's like, just because I don't want to.
Or get naked for a Christmas card.
Exactly. Like, everyone should be able to, proud of their body. I'm not the most like beautifully physiqued man, but it doesn't matter. It's like, you should be proud of yourself.
I don't believe that for a second. You've got Tess.
Exactly. No, it's just a thing of just like that. Everyone should be like, kind of like not hiding from like what they just want to, if it's just silly or whether they want to do something just for the fun of it. It's that thing of just like, if you're not hurting somebody else or yourself, really. What's the kind of issue? Really,
exactly, and what is a perfect body anyway? We're all different shapes and sizes.
Exactly, that's the thing. Exactly.
Can I just ask one other thing? Did you have a plan before the events of last year, and do you now sort of feel kind of that you've sort of thrown it? Maybe become like a bit more relaxed at what happens next, or.
Yeah, I think I did. I was planning on doing more, just in terms of like creatively. So I was doing more kind of like 3D stuff, actually, just 3D work. So I'm kind of doing stuff with Juliet. We've kind of set up a thing called Good Shape Studio, which is really kind of looking at just creating like kind of 3D work and kind of like experimental work and all about play and kind of interactivity. And
amazing.
Like funnily enough, that we did this kind of 3D piece. We just built this thing that we just, for the hell of it, just to be creative and be fun, and we kind of built it, and then we saw this thing where it was like this Kensington Sculpture Festival was on, which is like a sculpture festival in West London, and there was an opening for submissions, and we said, look, we just submit it just to see if they like it. Submit it, and we were told we got it. So we were told like, oh, you're in for the exhibition. And I was in New York at the time, and we were told, you got in for the exhibition, like, we love your piece, we want you in the show. And we were like, amazing. And I was in New York with Tess, and Juliet was ringing me, telling me, and we were like, can't believe it. Like, we didn't build this thing for that show, but we just built something because we just wanted to make something and just be creative. And so we had this thing where like, we're going to do lots of stuff, interactive stuff, with people, workshops. Yeah. And then literally a week later, it was like lockdown, and it was like not done. Like the whole project was like put on hold.
No.
But so I know that I had this real memento. We had this real memento of like, I was like, I'm still doing my design work, but let's really get into this kind of like way of doing things, which is, kind of interactivity, people get involved with like play and experimenting, and then it was just like stop. It was like, so that was a massive kind of stoppage on that. But now we've started to like get the ball rolling again, and we want to do kind of get that back set up. And to be honest, the lockdowns made me realize even more that we want to do that even more, because if there's one thing it's made me realize, that like you just said about people being outside, being at events, like hugging, being interactive, and I want to do stuff where design that people can interact with, play with, part of a community. So like that's something I want to do, really get involved with.
Sounds dreamlike. And let me know when that's happening, because I will be there, and we'll have an elbow or
many
a hug.
Hugs. We'll have many hugs.
Oh, brilliant.
Exactly. Yeah. I just promise I just won't eat in front of Tess, because she might get angry. And I don't want you to see my angry side of Michael. She's very, very friendly, but that side would not be nice.
So I'll leave the marshmallows at home.
Exactly. Leave the crunchy marshmallows. Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for your time, George. It's been absolutely wonderful.
Oh, thank you, Kelly. It's been great.
This is the Creative Boom Podcast, and I'm your host, Katie Cowan. That's it. We did it. Season 2 is in the bag. I'm going to be ducking out for a little while, having a break over the summer months, but I am going to come back for season 3, which is already in the making, and loads of great names are already on the list, so I'm really looking forward to it. I have to thank Shillington, the original graphic design bootcamp, who sponsored the entire season. They're a wonderful, friendly bunch and a close friend of Creative Boom's. We love that they help so many of you to go from dreamer to designer in as little as 3 months. Give them a whirl over at shillingtoneducation.com. And hey, if you enjoy what I put together for Creative Boom, can you please show your support by leaving us a review? You can find all the information and links and much more via creativeboom.com/podcast. Until season 3. Oh, but before I go, if you want to send me any feedback or recommendations for future guests, drop me an email at katie@creativeboom.com.